You could dial it down a little on the ho-ho-hos, but otherwise you're gold.
Ho, ho, ho!
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Christmas movies that didn't age well.
Look at the beach.
Look at the beach! Buy us new!
Rainbow Paws, thanks now. Stop calling me names.
For this list, we're looking at holiday flicks that are still doing the rounds during the holiday season, but which have some dated and problematic elements. Have any of your favorites aged badly? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. Grumpy Cat's Worst Christmas Ever.
It makes you feel like there's no love in the world. It makes you feel, well, grumpy.
Basing a movie on a meme is not usually the best recipe for longevity, but that didn't stop the Lifetime channel back in 2014. So what if it had already been 2 years since Grumpy Cat went viral? She was still a marketable commodity.
How about this plan? We let them steal JoJo and then we nap.
No, you're coming with me.
Oh, great. Who's doing the kidnapping now, huh?
However, the further away we move from the sensation that was Grumpy Cat, the harder it is to understand why anyone would make a movie with a talking cat that doesn't move its mouth. The cast tries their best to act opposite the fractious feline, but they're not getting much back.
I just feel like my life will always be a disappointment.
I know what that's like, okay? Trust me. Having been bought and returned a couple times, I get it.
Can I trade her for a fish?
The trademark grumpy expression still raises a smile from time to time, but after 92 minutes, the joke has worn thin.
Are you still on the edge of your seat? Is the dramatic tension too thick? Are you still here? You are? Why?
Number 9. Trading Places. The classic Eddie Murphy comedy Trading Places is beloved by many, but if you're sitting down to watch it for the first time since the 80s, you might get a few nasty surprises.
Is there a problem, officers?
Once applauded for its sharp social commentary, the movie's message is now less striking than the abundance of sexism and stereotypes that the viewer meets at every turn.
He's the pusher, not me!
Really, I just came in and caught this man planting this stuff in my desk. It's obviously some primitive attempt to try to frame me.
Frame you? Boy, if that isn't the pot calling the kettle black!
Dan Aykroyd in blackface affecting a dodgy Jamaican accent is just the beginning. There's also plenty of gratuitous nudity, a smattering of offensive language, and a villain condemned to an eternity of being violated by a gorilla. Oh, the hilarity.
Sometimes it looks so human it gives you the creeps.
Number 8. Bad Santa. This dark comedy was always intended to provoke, but modern audiences aren't so easy to shock.
It's not real.
No shit.
While Bad Santa did critically and financially well initially, many are left with a feeling of mild disgust and not enough laughs to make up for it upon rewatching.
Marcus, hop on!
Billy Bob Thornton's department store Santa spews slurs with the worst of them, covering all bases from misogyny to homophobia.
Come on, what do you want?
Barbie?
Say cheese.
Okay, fine, Barbie. Oh, thank you. Ow, what's the toenails, kid? Shit.
According to the writers, executive producers the Coen brothers drew the line at Down syndrome wisecracks, cutting several from the movie. But that seems to have been their only stipulation.
And try to act professional, for Christ's sake.
A misguided sequel followed in 2016, which left us in no doubt that Bad Santa should be left in the past.
How about you, huh? You want some? Anybody else? Anybody else? Come on.
Number 7. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Stop-motion TV special Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer has been broadcast annually since 1964, but it's been surrounded by controversy in the late 2010s.
Wait a minute. I've got it. We'll hide Rudolph's nose.
Hide it?
Yeah. Come here, boy.
Tongue-in-cheek criticism of the Christmas classic has drawn attention to the bigotry and misbehavior of certain characters.
Look at the beach.
Look at the beach! Buy us new!
Rainbow Paws, thanks now. Stop calling me names. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Fans on social media have also highlighted a problematic theme, that Rudolph has to prove his worth before being accepted for his difference.
Donner, you should be ashamed of yourself. What a pity. He had a nice takeoff, too.
Nostalgia and fond memories have kept it alive, but it would be very different if made today. It may be lovely, but it's a lovely piece of the past.
Rudolph, with your nose so bright, Won't you guide my sleigh tonight?
It will be an honor, sir.
Number 6. Love Actually.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Richard Curtis is in his element when depicting the slice of life that he knows best, that of middle-class, straight white Brits living in London.
Any chance of a dance with the boss?
Yeah, sure. As long as your boyfriend doesn't mind.
However, Love Actually is an ensemble piece, so there's no excuse for the lack of diversity. Even Richard Curtis says it makes him feel, quote, a bit stupid. Surprisingly, 2 additional storylines, one featuring a lesbian couple and another following an African family, were actually cut from the final film.
That is total bollocks.
The storylines that stayed don't hold up particularly well either. What's more, the fat jokes aimed at Natalie and the scene with the American girls are both a bit uncomfortable in hindsight.
You know Natalie, who works here?
The chubby girl?
Would we call her chubby?
I think there's a pretty sizable ass there, yes, sir. Huge thighs.
Andrew Lincoln's character has also been reevaluated, and as general consensus has it, the card scene is more creepy than romantic. Number 5. Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer.
Grandma, watch out!
You can say there's no such thing as Santa, but as for me and Grandpa, we believe.
Based on a novelty Christmas song from 1979, Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer has everything you could possibly want from a quirky animated movie. There's a sweet old lady protagonist, a quaint small-town setting, and some catchy songs.
Grandma's gonna sue the pants off of Santa. Santa's going for a ride.
Also, the issues from a violent sleigh accident, Santa on trial, and the CEO of a greedy corporation are all resolved by the end. The messaging is all over the place, the storyline is contrived, and the animation belongs firmly in 2000. Although, it didn't look great even then.
Nobody gets a tree anymore. It's not cool.
The eponymous song was already irrelevant when the movie came out, and now that it's all but forgotten, the existence of the film seems more unbelievable than ever.
Grandma got run over by a reindeer, walking home from our house Christmas Eve.
Number 4. The Santa Claus 2.
That's nice. I have a little announcement to make. From this moment forward, we're not going to make any more toys.
The first Santa Claus movie stars Tim Allen as a divorced dad who takes on the role of Santa after the real thing disappears. The sequel had to magic up a story from somewhere, but was it really necessary to marry off the protagonist?
What do you need, pal?
Why don't you just shoot with one of your darts, then I'll fall in love?
All right, first of all, they're not darts, they're arrows.
The idea that Santa needs his Mrs. Claus to have a happy and fulfilled life is kind of old-fashioned, and feels more dated as the years go by.
Oh, that sounds so creative. I love creative people.
Yeah?
The couple's only been on a few dates before he's rushing her to the altar and whisking her off to the North Pole.
Even the principal needs a Christmas gift. Merry Christmas.
Also, marry me or you'll ruin Christmas for all the world's children is not the most romantic proposal. That's a guilt trip if ever we heard one.
This is all happening so fast.
Well, there's no pressure.
Good.
I mean, if I don't get married, I just won't deliver the gifts. Then children everywhere will stop believing.
Number 3. Holiday Inn. As we know from Trading Places, blackface was still popping up in movies into the late 20th century, although by the 1950s it was already a controversial issue.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas.
When White Christmas was released in 1954, it featured a number all about minstrel shows, but there were no painted faces, only nostalgia. The movie's predecessor, however, had no such qualms. Compared to White Christmas, Holiday Inn is very rarely shown around Christmas time, or at least its original version almost never is. This may have something to do with the infamous Abraham scene.
When troubles come down from the shelf, whose heart was bigger than himself, Abraham.
Bing Crosby takes to the stage dressed as Abraham Lincoln, complete with mutton chops and for some indecipherable reason, in full makeup caricaturing a black person. To make things worse, the band behind him is too. It's not an easy watch. Number 2. Jingle All the Way. Although the critics were always scornful, producer Chris Columbus's holiday comedy Jingle All the Way was a hit with viewers, topping the box office back in the 90s.
It's Turbo Power!
Looking back, though, it's hard to work out exactly what we liked about it.
No, just give me the ball. I got it. Ow!
Sicko! Pervert!
Ow!
Get your hands off
I
my
need the
kid!
ball. I need the ball.
The story is a satirical fable about the commercialization of Christmas, which plays out with all the subtlety of a high-energy sitcom.
You picked the wrong day.
Arnold Schwarzenegger has decent comic timing and throws himself into the chaos, but it has to be said that this movie gets worse with every rewatch. The use of a bomb threat played for comedy feels especially out of place in today's world.
Just a sick world we're living in. Sick people.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. The Polar Express.
Who gets the first gift at Christmas?
He will choose one of you.
New animation technology is a double-edged sword. While it's still brand new, it gives the viewer a fresh and exciting visual experience. The downside is, it dates much faster than a live-action movie, faster than even traditional hand-drawn animation sometimes.
I suggest we all hold on tightly.
The Polar Express was groundbreaking upon its release, praised for its use of motion capture technology combined with CGI animation and live action. The technique didn't catch on though, and watching back almost 2 decades on, the animation style is much creepier than we remember.
I know what you are. You're a doubter! A doubter you don't believe! You're a doubter!
Tom Hanks's kindly conductor has a glazed and sinister expression, and the kids are not much better. The Polar Express may be a modern classic, but it's also undeniably weird looking.
Well, see ya.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.